This is your boy, Jimmy J Smooth, touching out that 832, and I'm on that bullshit all day, every day. Now, let me holler at some of y'all Floyd Mayweather haters, because I'm going to put y'all ass to bed for good, motherfuckers. Now, I notice people say Floyd Mayweather ain't never beat nobody in their prime and ain't never unified a belt. That is like one of the most hoe-ass talking points in history and one of the most untrue talking points in history. Now, if you look at Genaro Hernandez, you know, he wasn't necessarily in his prime, but he was the best fighter at 130. He was coming off a career best win versus Azuma Nelson. When Floyd Mayweather beat him, Floyd Mayweather was the first person to beat Genaro Hernandez at 130. Now, this is the same dude that Oscar De La Hoya avoided at 130. You know, and even Bob Arum did not want Oscar De La Hoya to fight Genaro Hernandez at 130. This has been said on a couple of HBO telecasts when he first became a HBO star, quote unquote. But his second biggest win after Genaro Hernandez was Angel Manfredi. Angel Manfredi was clearly in his prime. He was coming off a win over an up-and-coming Arturo Gatti. Another win he had, Brother Floyd Mayweather had, was Diego Corrales. But what a lot of these casual boxing fans will say, well, Diego Corrales was drained, he was overweight. But you didn't say that shit when he beat Aciliano Freitas, did you? The guy out of Brazil. Y'all didn't say that shit then. Is he in his prime? Now let's move up to 135. Floyd Mayweather beat Jose Luis Castillo twice. I don't give a fuck how you feel about that fight. The first fight, Floyd Mayweather won. A scoring punch. You can't score a punch if all you're doing is hitting elbows and shoulders. Fuck what you're talking about. Castillo was at the prime of his career. He was the top 135 fighter at 135. So, Jose Luis Castillo ain't in his prime? I already named you two people. You can technically name Genaro Hernandez as a third fighter. You know, Angel Manfredi was a title contender, so I really don't consider him a top level fighter. But he was among the top in the division. And not only that, Floyd Mayweather was getting avoided by everybody. You know what I'm saying? He called out Yoel Casamayor. He called out Aciliano Freitas, and none of them wanted to fight him. So Diego Corrales was the only person that had balls to even fight him. He took the fight. Diego Corrales got his ass whooped all 10 or 11 rounds, however many rounds he took that L, you know. And then when he could not get the fight with Stevie Johnston, you know, which is another talking point people make, Floyd Mayweather don't fight prime black fighters. You know what I'm saying? Which is a hoe-ass talking point if you think about it, because the black fighters that was in their prime didn't want to fight them. But I'll get to that later. But he moved up to 140. Now, keep in mind, Floyd Mayweather has called out Costa Tszyu several different times, and Costa Tszyu is the best fighter at 140, the former unified 140 champion, who beat Zab Judah to become the undisputed champion at 140, the first in however many years that he fought. But anyway, to say Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people say Floyd Mayweather was ducking Costa Tszyu. But you took a fight against Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was an up and coming fighter. He wasn't even on the pound for pound list at that particular time. He's an up and coming fighter that you basically was a cherry pick. So who the hell was Ricky Hatton? Now, that's not to shit on Ricky Hatton, but Ricky Hatton is a nobody compared to Floyd Mayweather. Costa Tzu is the number 3 pound for pound fighter in the world. Floyd Mayweather is the number 2 pound for pound fighter in the world. So I look at Costa Tzu doing more of the cherry picking / ducking than Floyd Mayweather did, because after Floyd Mayweather would have fought Arturo Gatti, who was also ducking Floyd Mayweather, like all the other punk ass motherfuckers was, a Costa Tzu fight was doable. But what ended up happening was Costa Tzu took the Ricky Hatton fight, and he quit on his stool in the 11th round. So at 140, there's nowhere else to go. And here's where the fallacy comes in. A lot of people say, well, Floyd Mayweather ducked Miguel Cotto. First of all, Miguel Cotto was a green fighter at the particular time. That's first and foremost. Second, Floyd Mayweather was willing to fight Miguel Cotto if he had the proper payday through Bob Arum. Now, around this time, Floyd Mayweather was going to leave Top Rank. According to Bob Arum, and I will put the link in the box. According to Bob Arum was willing to take the Antonio Margarito fight if he gets $10 million to fight Miguel Cotto or Ricky Hatton. It says that Bob Arum said this to ESPN's Dan Rafael, which I think Dan Rafael is a bitch, and I'm calling you a bitch, Dan Rafael, with your fat ass. Anyway, with that being said, Floyd Mayweather is the number 1 pound for pound fighter at this time, at this particular time. We're talking about 2005, right around January, not January, but maybe right around July of August of 2005. The problem is, the reason why he can't fight Antonio Margarito, first of all, he has a hand injury. Second, Bob Arum is not willing to pay his price. Now, he was going to take the $8 million, but all Floyd Mayweather was asking for is give me $10 million to fight Miguel Cotto, and Bob Arum was willing to only offer him $7 million, which was a crock of shit. That is the biggest lie any casual boxing fan could ever tell. Second, Miguel Cotto's biggest win at 140 was Paulie Malignaggi at the fucking time. He didn't beat no motherfucking body at 140. That's the dumbest talking point anybody could ever say. Miguel Cotto was good at 140, but he ain't beat no damn body. He beat a former Olympic gold medalist, okay, but he turned out to be a fucking bum. He beat mostly bums at 140. And third, the fight would have took place at 147. The fight wouldn't have took place at Miguel Cotto's, at the time, natural weight. Fourth of all, Miguel Cotto at 140, up until his first 2 fights at 147, never called out Floyd Mayweather. And I will challenge anybody to show me anything before Miguel Cotto fought Zab Judah. Show me one interview where he did a post-fight interview he did to where he called out Floyd Mayweather before Zab Judah. You will be the biggest fucking liar in history. And I will prove that to you. Miguel Cotto did not call out Floyd Mayweather before the Zab Judah fight. His explanation was always, I'm going to let my manager and my promoter handle who I fight next. Those were his words in all his fights. I've pulled up several Miguel Cotto's post-fight interviews several different times. You will not find him calling out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd Mayweather, in no shape or form, duck Miguel Cotto, because one, Miguel Cotto was nobody to duck at 140. Two, Bob Arum debunks this by saying Floyd Mayweather was willing to fight him if you paid the right price, which he's the number one pound for pound fighter. $10 million is chump change compared to what he should have been asking for, being that he was the number one pound for pound fighter. So that's the biggest crock of shit any of you casual ass boxing fans could ever say. That is a lie. That is a fucking lie. That is a fucking lie. Miguel Cotto was not nobody to fight at that particular time. Compared to the other people at 140, he was nobody to fight. He was a green fighter. Miguel Cotto, he was willing to fight him, but that would have just been another green fighter ass he whooped. But the facts of the matter is, Floyd Mayweather was willing to fight him. The fight should have happened, hell, a little bit after the Marquez fight, but Top Rank wasn't going to let that fight go down since Floyd Mayweather left Top Rank. So that's a big lie about Miguel Cotto. Well, he avoided prime Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto's biggest wins Miguel Cotto's biggest wins were versus Zab Judah, Shane Mosley, basically Antonio Margarito coming off a loss, and a no leg having ass Sergio Martinez. Those are his 4 biggest wins. You know, I give him more credit for Shane Mosley than either one of them, because Shane Mosley was a resurgent fighter. He was coming off wins over Antonio Vargas and a few other putty patrollers. So he was having a resurgent career. After he got his ass schooled versus Winky Wright and got his ass beat by Vernon Forrest, he was back to the drawing board. But the problem with Sugar Shane Mosley, he was avoiding Zab Judah at 147 when he was the undisputed welterweight champion. Because when he was asked, he was like, well, I got to see my schedule and shit like that. But he had an opportunity to become the undisputed champion at 147. But back to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather faces Shambe Mitchell, and then he signs a contract to fight Zab Judah, who at the time when he signed the contract, listen very closely, Zab Judah was the undisputed champion. What ended up happening was Zab Judah camp ended up asking for an extension before he fights Floyd Mayweather. What ends up happening is Carlos Baldomir ends up upsetting Zab Judah. So that put a fork in Floyd Mayweather becoming an undisputed champion. Now, the tricky situation that ends up happening is the belts are now pretty much segregated for the most part. They're now a segregated belt. So what that means now, Zab Judah ends up still recognized as the IBF champion. Carlos Baldomir was paid so low for upsetting Zab Judah. Carlos Baldomir was paid so low that he could not pay the sanction fees to keep the belts unified. So he had to take the WBC title. He paid the sanctioning fee for the WBC title, but everybody still recognized him as the lineal champion. So first of all, with him ducking Antonio Margarito, that is also a falsehood. Second, Zab Judah is the more important fighter at 140. He's the undisputed fucking champion. He's the number one, and he's the best fighter at 147. This is before the Carlos Baldomir fight. So him getting out of the contract is not necessarily ducking. If Antonio Margarito wanted the fight, he needs to beat some better fighters. Basically, Antonio Margarito is beating putty patrollers. If you really wanted a fight with Floyd Mayweather, you should have went after Carlos Baldomir. But you didn't. So you're not going to be more important than the lineal champion, the real champion at a certain weight division. So you're saying that Antonio Margarito was avoided by Floyd Mayweather? That's another motherfucking lie you motherfuckers love telling. And the reason why you motherfuckers lie so goddamn much is because you hate Floyd Mayweather. That's just the way it is. When you're gonna say I'm a Flomo or Floyd Mayweather lover, call me what the fuck you want, but you can't debunk any motherfucking shit I'm saying, because you're gonna have to come up with another motherfucking lie on top of another motherfucking lie that makes no motherfucking sense. But the thing is, Jimmy J. Smooth out the 832 tells nothing but 100% of the truth, motherfucker. So sit your ass down and enjoy this goddamn video. Now, as soon as he beat Zab Judah, he vacates the IBF belt to get a chance at fighting Carlos Baldomir. Floyd Mayweather offered Carlos Baldomir around $1.6 million. So that's the biggest purse he ever seen in his entire life. Floyd Mayweather gets $8 million to fight Carlos Baldomir. He pretty much dominates Carlos Baldomir. Now, the next fight that could be made, and going back to 2005, people wanted to see the Floyd Mayweather De La Hoya fight, going back to 2005. So he was trying to get a fight with Corey Spinks, but for whatever reason, that fight could not have been made. For whatever reason, that it couldn't have been made. And this is pretty much after Corey Spinks took an L to what's that motherfucker name? Jermaine Taylor. So now that he can't get a fight in between the Oscar De La Hoya fight, he goes to Oscar De La Hoya and take the fight. So it only makes financial sense to take the Oscar De La Hoya fight. He's trying to get at Corey Spinks, but Corey Spinks, for whatever reason, the fight can't be made with Corey Spinks for whatever reason. You know, some sorts people say Corey Spinks was ducking. I can believe that myself. So and that's another thing that pretty much debunks he ducks prime black fighters, because Corey Spinks, you know, he was still a good fighter at 154. You know, I ain't gonna say he was at his best, but he was at the peak of his prime. So that would have been a pretty good fight. I still think Floyd Mayweather would have schooled his ass. He would have had trouble with the southpaw, with the southpaw position, but I think he would have schooled Corey Spinks easily. You know, and then Corey Spinks was chinny anyway. So he beats De La Hoya. Now people still talking about he avoiding Miguel Cotto, but still, who are you beating at this particular time? Because I don't think you fight Sugar Shane. I don't think he fought Sugar Shane Mosley until about 2008, maybe the end of 2007. I gotta, redo my cross reference and stuff like that. But Floyd Mayweather, people are pretty much demanding the Ricky Hatton fight right after Floyd Mayweather takes care of Oscar De La Hoya. And of course he knocks out Ricky Hatton. Now, one of the major reasons why Miguel Cotto fight didn't happen is Top Rank wasn't going to allow Cotto to take that fight. So that's the thing that was killing the Miguel Cotto versus Floyd Mayweather from happening any sooner than what it did. So people need to cut the bullshit and just respect his wins and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, to some degree, you might be right on... Well, I ain't going to even say you might be right, but I would say that with the people who say he's avoided prime black fighters, a lot of these prime black fighters are not doing enough to get a fight with Floyd Mayweather. First of all, Floyd Mayweather is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, and number two, he's the cash cow. So a lot of these black fighters out here are not getting key wins. Look at Sugar Shane Mosley, for an example. Shane Mosley defeated Antonio Margarito before he got the Floyd Mayweather fight. And not just that, Sugar Shane Mosley got in the ring and got in Floyd Mayweather's face. But he became the number one 147 fighter in the sport. He was the lineal 147 fighter. And a lot of people say, well, Shane Mosley out his prime, which is true. He's out his prime, but he's not so far out his prime to where it wasn't like he wasn't good enough to be the best in the division. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, people like Keith Thurman and, guys like them, they talking about, well, Floyd Mayweather don't want to fight me, but you're not doing enough to get the big fights. You know what I'm saying? You're not beating big names. You're beating leftovers. Like, right before the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, you beat a outdated ass Robert Guerrero up in this motherfucker. But the thing with that is, you can't. You need to be beating some top level competition. Try to get after Marquez. Try to get after Timothy Bradley. You're not doing it. Simply not doing enough. And the best fighter in the division is pretty much the best fighter outside of Floyd Mayweather is Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao are the two best fighters in the sport of boxing at the particular time. So not only they're the two best boxers in the sports, they're the two best boxers in the division. 1 and 2, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. So any fight that Floyd Mayweather takes that wasn't Manny Pacquiao, that wasn't good enough. Look at the Canelo Alvarez win he had. Canelo Alvarez, going into the fight, he was the lineal 154 fighter. He's just coming off a win over Austin Trout, who was the number 3 154 fighter in the world. And the same Austin Trout who was coming off a win over Miguel Cotto. You know what I'm saying? Now, Miguel Cotto was coming into the fight with a loss, but at the same time, Miguel Cotto is still a dangerous fighter. And not only that, he beat Miguel Cotto in New York City, where he never lost. You know what I'm saying? So Austin Trout was a big fight for Canelo. And Canelo, I gave the fight barely to Canelo, but he did enough to win the fight. I'll say that. But going into the fight, Floyd Mayweather is fighting the best 154 fighter in the world, which is Canelo Alvarez. And he just straight dominated Canelo Alvarez. But people say, well, Canelo was too young, but he's not young enough to he's not young enough to become the lineal champion at 154. Come on now. You listen to these people talk and you be like, what the fuck? What kind of boxing y'all watching this shit like that? But yet you praise Canelo Alvarez as soon as he beats Miguel Cotto, soon as he beat the big boys and shit like that. And then we go to the Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather. People been like, well, Mayweather versus Pacquiao, that's 6 years too late. But here's the thing. Top Rank have been the major reason why this fight has not happened. That's the major reason why the Miguel Cotto fight didn't happen. A major reason why the Margarito fight didn't happen with his cheating ass. And definitely a major reason why Floyd Mayweather never fought Timothy Bradley. You know what I'm saying? Because Mayweather specifically told Bradley's camp from my research, he's told them that if you leave Top Rank, I'll give you the fight. So obviously Timothy Bradley didn't want that Floyd Mayweather fight. from the sources I've read and shit like that. But Floyd could have easily unified the title. The problem is a lot of these casual fans and a lot of these promoters like Top Rank, they wasn't trying to risk their fighters. So my thing with the Manny Pacquiao fight was the main reason why the Top Rank was the main reason why Manny Pacquiao did not face Floyd Mayweather earlier than it should have been, because they were the reason why, because if you look at the post-fight interviews, well, I got to talk to Bob Arum. Bob Arum been like, well, you got to talk to Manny Pacquiao. It was this, big ruckus going on. Now, I will say this. Now, Floyd Mayweather did do some ducking by saying, when he said, Manny Pacquiao, you next, and then he came back and said, no, I did not say that. He did do some ducking in that retrospect, but for the most part, the major reason why the fight never happened was on Top Rank and Manny Pacquiao's camp. And even Freddie Roach came out and said the reason why the fight is not happening is because that Manny Pacquiao does not want to get drug tested. Now, fast forward to late 2014, early 2015, Manny Pacquiao has tax problems. So Manny Pacquiao pretty much got to take the damn fight. It is what it is. He got to take the damn fight. Now, I will say this. Keith Thurman was Floyd Mayweather's mandatory. But here's the thing. Fan demand always supersedes over mandatories. I'm going to say this again. Fan demands always supersede over mandatories. Let's say I'm Lennox Lewis, and let's say my mandatory was John Ruiz, which there are some fallacies in this, what happened with Lennox Lewis in the WBA, but I'm saying, let's say I'm John Ruiz, Lennox Lewis and John Ruiz, Lennox Lewis, and then I'm supposed to fight John Ruiz. But the fans want Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis. Who are you going to comply with? The WBA, or are you going to comply with the fans? Now, you got to take into account, if you do make this fight with Mike Tyson, you're damn near guaranteed 1.7 million pay-per-view buys, which you're entitled to have some of the revenue. So the fans want to see this fight. What you gonna do? Are you gonna fight John Ruiz, or are you gonna fight Mike Tyson? Of course, you're gonna take that Mike Tyson fight, even though you may get your ass knocked out by Mike Tyson, or you may knock out Mike Tyson. Your fans are gonna be more important than taking a huge risk with your mandatories. Now, I'll say this to say that. I'll say that to say this. Floyd Mayweather would have schooled the shit out of Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman was vulnerable to the body, and he would have treated him the same way Zab Judah Road Runner ass. He would have abused. That dude. So, but at the same time, back to what I was saying. Anybody that Floyd Mayweather fight was not good enough until he fought Pacquiao. And even when he beat Pacquiao, that wasn't good enough to some fans. So, what I'm saying to a lot of you hoe-ass casual boxing fans, shut the fuck up about Floyd Mayweather's legacy. Shut the fuck up about his records. Shut the fuck up about his resume. Because you ain't talking about a goddamn thing. All the shit I'm telling you can be cross-referenced. And if you have these whole-ass talking points I'm just gonna straight up cuss your dumb ass out. Because that is some stupid shit you talking. That is some straight up stupid shit you talking. There's a difference between having a difference in opinion and just being blinded by fact, blinded by not researching the facts, and just being plain damn stupid. There's having facts and there's having an opinion. But when having an opinion, you crowbar, you give the illusion of the truth. You give the illusion of the truth, or what you think is the truth. When you give that illusion of the truth, and you take some bullshit and put it and make it seem like it's real, you just on some certified bullshit. So my thing is, cut that certified bullshit out on Floyd Mayweather's resume. Whether he ducked somebody or whether he didn't, he's still the pound for pound king. Whether you like it or not. Is he better than Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Roy Jones Jr. in my opinion? I don't think so. But he damn sure makes a fucking argument. So respect his fucking resume and sit y'all happy ass down. I'm out.